Good evening. It's great to be here with you. And let me say first, it's great to have Lowell Russell in the house with us. And as I tell people, we have 99 members, 70 plus House members are Republicans. And my job is easy when I don't have to worry about them going out on Lowell Broad. And so I know Lowell's not out there on Lowell Broad on the evenings. He's doing his due diligence. And so my nights are safe knowing that we have someone like him there, as well as he heads up our criminal subcommittee, which he does a wonderful job in making sure that we're tough on criminals and protect victims. I grew up not too far from here. I grew up off Shodo Road, which is just on the west side of Knox County. And when I was growing up, we used to come to Martell, to the country club, to the golf course, to the swimming pool, which is no longer there, unfortunate, but a lot of fond memories of coming over. And so as I was growing up, I went to Oak Ridge High School. The best thing was I was allowed to go there because we paid tuition. And so I was able to go to Oak Ridge and learn and met with the McNally family. Maggie was a year younger than me in school. And I really do appreciate this being the McNally Day dinner. I do. I hope that it stays the McNally Day dinner. I hope it doesn't revert back. I think it's a great honor to reward someone for their years of service that directly impacted you and our communities. But as I was at Oak Ridge, I was just a little 16-year-old kid running around. And I remember Randy coming back during football season. He'd come to games and everybody like, there's Randy McNally. And of course, I grew up in Knox, so it took me a little bit to figure out who Randy McNally was. And so that was a learning opportunity. But he was the man who everybody talked about. And he's still the same man that he was back then. And once I graduated Oak Ridge, I went to UT. And my daughter's here, who's Greer, she's my youngest. And I graduated UT with a political science degree. And I told a story when I graduated political science, you go into the job search and you're saying, who's going to hire a political science major? Well, there's no jobs for political science majors out there, right? Oh, well. And so I was looking for something to do, and it was in 1994. And you remember 1994 was a great year for Republicans in the state of Tennessee. So we knew Randy McNally, and guess what? He was up for re-election. And so he took a chance on a young, fresh out of college kid to help on the campaign in 1994. And I will say that it's the same color signs. The M's a little different. It wasn't as sharp. It was a little bit more rounded back in those days. In those days, in 94, the signs, and Jim Henry and Doug and all y'all remember this, Chip Miller too, is you would have to put up a piece of plywood and you take out your staple gun and you would staple the 4x8s, which was, I spent all my time going back and repairing them because the winds would come in and so forth. But he took a chance. And I'm in politics today because of Randy McNally, to be honest with you. Because not only of the type of person he is, but what I learned from him. And learned that you can have honor in serving. Because at that time, he had been past the Rocky Top investigation that has been discussed. And at a time when everybody was getting rich, there was at least one person in our state who said, service is not about you being rich. It's not about how much money I can make. And he took that and turned it in and worked with the FBI undercover for years. And I hope he'll write a story about it because it's a fascinating story. But he'll tell stories like he would go to dinner and so forth, and he'd be wearing a wire, and he'd have to go in the bathroom and change out the tape because it was going so long, and they would pack him on the back, and he was worried about them because there was actual wire back then. He was worried about them finding that out. But to go undercover for that long, to bust public corruption at his risk at that time, which was great, is something that we should all be very proud of and tell the next generation. Because what it does, it makes you believe and feel like that people can make a difference. Not everybody is bought and paid for, because there's at least one individual who stood up to it, and that was Randy McNally. And so in 1994, I helped on his campaign. He'd tell you it was a landslide. He won by like 350 votes. but was more than double what he was 4 years ago, and that's why he calls it landslide. But it was a great experience. I loved every minute of it. Never knew I would ever want to serve in the General Assembly. Never thought. Never occurred to me. Probably doesn't occur to most people who run for office. It just kind of evolves over time. And then I had an opportunity to run in 2010. I live in Crossville, not too far away. And the first phone call I got was from Randy McNally when he found out. Can I help you? What do you need? I was running against an incumbent, a Republican incumbent, but Randy was still there to help. Because for him, loyalty and friendship meant something, which is another lesson that everybody should learn from Randy McNally. And it's continued ever since. So I won that race. I've been in the General Assembly, worked for him, served with him. Never thought I would serve with him. Never thought that would be the case. Never thought I would be serving Speaker alongside him when he's Lieutenant Governor. But you know, what that really tells you is we're not really in control of our destiny, right? There's a higher purpose. God is sitting there moving things to give us the opportunity to do things we never thought of and serve with people we never thought we would serve with. And so you go from 94 to 2010 to when I became Speaker in 2020, or late 19. And it's been an amazing journey. And he is still the same friend to me that he was. His family is still very dear to us. And I will say that his family, we all know what the time commitment is, and having kids and being a full-time pharmacist and everything else. Jan and the family for supporting Randy for that long is amazing in and of itself. And thank you for all. But I will say, Randy, if there's not a day that doesn't go by or a time he doesn't meet somebody that he tells you thank you, that he doesn't tell you he appreciates you, and doesn't ask if you need something. Right? Lieutenant Governor did not go to his head. He's still the same guy. He still cares about our state. He still cares about his community. And he has led us through a lot of challenges, and we owe him a lot of gratitude. I tried to give him a run one more time. No offense, Jimmy, I didn't know you were running. I was trying to get him run one more time. But it's been an honor to know him, to work with him, to serve beside him, and to know his family. And I'm here today because of Randy McNally, to be honest with you. And as part of this keynote, I'm going to try to tie it in a little bit and end on a Randy story. He doesn't know what it is, but it'll be pretty good. He'll remember it when I get there. But let me just tell you, in the state of Tennessee and in America, your General Assembly, and Leader Johnson is here, your General Assembly is the most conservative General Assembly in the United States. And how do I know that? So first, President Trump in the White House says that Tennessee is the best partner that he has in America, first. Not Utah, not these other red states, but Tennessee. Because we get the job done. We accomplish a lot. And we're there for the fight. You know, a lot of states are there for the fight until the fight, and the next thing you look around, you're like, where'd they go? Right? But that's not Tennessee's. The other reason is our budget's very conservative. I know a lot of people want to go around and say our budget blew up 2 times or whatever you want to call it, whatever it is. Our budget has only grown in 16 years under Republican leadership by the rate of inflation plus 1.3%. But when you're a state like Tennessee and everybody wants to move here, and you're a state like Tennessee where all traffic seems like it comes through the state of Tennessee, you're going to have revenue to maintain and grow and expand. We've cut $4 billion in taxes, and we're still growing, which is exactly what Ronald Reagan said. Our budget, if we did not grow, it was just the rate of inflation. Our budget today is about 54 billion. We'd be at $47 billion if we did nothing other than rate of inflation. So look at all the things that we have accomplished and all the things that we have done and what we've done to cut taxes. I think it's been a testament to how conservative we have been. And then we stopped DEI in the state of Tennessee. We stopped boys playing girls' sports. We stopped China from coming in and buying farmland. We also put a stop to reassignment surgeries by the transgender confused people. We have the toughest criminal penalties of any state in America. If you commit violent crime, and I appreciate General Russell for what he does and the district attorneys across the state, if you commit a violent crime, you need to serve every single day. You don't need to get out. That family does not need to see you on the streets in 2 years when you're serving 6 years, or 10, or 12. If you commit a violent crime, you're going to serve all 10. We'll see you in 10. Maybe you'll learn your lesson. Do it again, you're probably going to be gone for another 10. But we want to protect victims. We don't want to protect criminals. And then we're conservative because liberals hate us. Just think about it. Liberals hate the state of Tennessee. CNBC came out and said Tennessee is the worst place to live. I think that's an accomplishment for CNBC to tell Tennessee we're the worst place to live. Because what they really mean is, you know what, we take on the LGBTQ because we believe in God. Amen. We don't allow transgender reassignment surgeries in our state. We don't allow DEI. But we allow you personal freedom. Yeah, they're going to hate personal freedom, aren't they? That's how I know liberals hate us. They also hate us because we passed this year Nuclear Family Month. Lord and behold. Nuclear family is controversial. What's wrong with having a mom and dad in the household and hoping that that's the standard that we have? Knowing that sometimes there's situations, I went through situations where it doesn't work, and that's okay. But the goal still should be two-parent families. We need fathers in the household. And then immigration laws. They don't like our immigration laws. I can tell you that. This year we passed 13 bills. I was at a conference the other day and 2 speakers from other states said, can you send me all 13 bills we want to pass them next year? But in our state, we said, we want to take care of our own. If you're going to get public benefits, we're just going to make sure that you're a legal citizen. What's wrong with that? We want to help our own. We don't want to help who came in here illegally, right? If you're going to get a professional license and you're coming from California, we just want to make sure that you went through legal status check. We want to make sure that if you are trying to come here, we'll do that. And if you got a crime and you got a jurisdiction or court finds that you should go back, we're going to hold them to that standard and make it a crime if you don't go back. We're going to make sure that you take the English-only driving test in our state because you need to understand our language to drive on our roads to protect our families. We are trying to just do common sense thing on immigration, and the liberals hate it. They want to say we're mean. No, we're not mean. We just have a standard where we want to help our own. If you want to come in our country, come in legally. Come in legally. We might could do a little bit better job of speeding that process up, but it's a disservice. It's like with violent crimes. When you allow a violent criminal to get out in 2 or 3 years when they should be there for 6 or 8, you are penalizing the victims. When you allow illegal immigration to come in and you want to do amnesty and all this other stuff, it's a disservice to those who did it the right way. We are the greatest country in the world. We're the greatest state in America. That's why people want to come here. It really is. And then, the funny thing is liberals hate us because they're going to, you've heard this, well, you need to elect us because the country's is not affordable right now. It's not affordable. Well, a little research, and if you look at the cost of living, you look at gas prices, if you look at taxes, and you look at debt of all states, 12 of the top 15 states that meet the least affordable, the highest gas prices, the most taxes, and the highest debt are blue states. That's not the affordability I think we want here in Tennessee. So their message is mixed. They don't like us because we're low debt, low taxes, low regulation, and we are thriving. Thriving. And I always tell this as a joke, but I am somewhat serious. In 16 years, we've had a majority in Tennessee. 16 years. I don't know what it serves like in the minority. I hope I never do. And I hope Greer's generation never does either. But the Democrats were in charge for 100 years. All I say is I want 84 more years of Republican control. 84. And in 84, I think, I've talked to the Speaker of Mississippi, I think we can buy them. And we can have some oceanfront property in Tennessee. And I think that we would be expanding our state, which would be a very good thing. The other thing is the Democrat Party is no longer the Democrat Party. We grew our party from people who left the Democrat Party, to be honest with you. We did not have 1 million people that moved into the state of Tennessee in 1994 or 1 million people that moved in 2010 that changed who voted in the state of Tennessee. What you had is conservative Democrats who said, that party no longer represents me. I think I'm going to go over here. That's how we got the Republican majority. That's how we started flipping directions. Now we're having all these people moving in, and it's enhancing us. But we have to remember we are a big party. And we are a party of debate. It's okay to disagree. We're not Democrats just walking a straight line and that's the way you're going to go. And if there's no door there, they're all just going to stand there until something happens. We're all going to look at other exits. We're all going to figure out another way to go. But at the end, we all want to go to the same place and we're going to be successful. But we are a party big enough to allow people to come in and not be afraid. Because that's how we grow our party and stay Republican. And that Democrat Party now, Democrat Socialists of America, or whatever they call themselves, have you seen that platform that they've come out with? Amnesty, no deportation, do away with the Department of War, do away with U.S. senators, allow Congress to pick the senators, allow Congress to pick the President of the United States, pack the Supreme Court, right? They want to redo the Constitution. And on the street the other day, they were talking to all these people, and they're like, do you believe in socialism? Well, I think it has merits and stuff. Well, they want to rewrite the Constitution. Oh, no, we can't do that. There's even limits where people will logically say, we don't need to redo the Constitution of the United States. But that's what they want to do. As a party, we have to realize that that's the fight. It's not this fight. And unfortunately, sometimes as a party, we want to hold this as our fight. Because we're like, this is where the election matters, and I need this person. That's fine. Vote for who you want. If they win, congratulations. If they lose, I'm sorry. Go vote for the person that won. Because at the end, a Republican is better than the Democrat every single day.
Yep.
2 times on Sunday, 4 times on Sunday, or however many times on Sunday.
Yep.
We are only as successful as we are as a party electing Republicans. And we have to make sure that we know the fight is with the leftists, not within our own. And the fight really is, and I believe this more today than I've ever had. The fight is with the left because they don't believe in God. They want to destroy America. The Democrat Socialists of America want to destroy America. They want to destroy the foundation our country was based on, which is God, which is faith. They want us to believe the fallacy that they want to talk about, that there's separation of church and state. No, there's not. That is not what the Founding Fathers had in mind. Go read everything. Everything they wrote had a biblical perspective. The Constitution, the Bill of Rights, their writings, it all had biblical implants. They believed in God. They wanted a country on a foundation of God. The New Democrat Party, they don't believe in God. If they believed in God, they would believe God was perfect. I hope we all believe that God is perfect and that we're imperfect. Because you cannot believe God is perfect if you believe a 12-year-old thinks that they're a girl when they're a boy and they should change their sex. If you believe that, you're telling the children that God was not perfect and created. That is the fundamental difference of what will destroy our country or make our country great. That is what the fight's about. That's what we're all here trying to do. Because God is the foundation of our country. They are attacking it, and we have to stand together to push back. And for some of y'all, when you all were in school, they actually had the Bible in school. The Bible was part of the school. We need to put the Bible back in the school. But we have to rally around, we have to unite, we have to win convincingly, and we have to get our church to go vote.
There you go.
You know what percentage of our church members vote? Yeah, pick a number, it's below 35%. Some churches are a little bit better than others. If our churches vote, we win every time.
That's right.
The amazing thing, I was with some friends one time, and they take their kids to school, and a private school, and they were like, well, I know the headmaster's a Republican. I'm like, well, why do you think they're a Republican? Well, because they talk like a Republican. Well, do they vote like a Republican? Well, I don't know. I said, let me look them up. What's the name? Pull them up, look them up, show them the vote card. They're not Republican. Wow. You know what they did next? What about this person? What about this person? What about this person? Right? We have to do a better job of trying to build our party and get people to vote Republican. We are the party of freedom. We're the party of opportunity, the party of hope, the party of success. We don't want to build a wealth tax. We don't want to punish you for being successful. We want to inspire. We want to make sure that you know the American dream is possible. Memphis Safe Task Force was about going in and taking over Memphis to allow children to realize for the first time in their life they don't have to deal drugs to make a living, that they can be successful. And that you can be anything that you want to be in America. Mm-hmm. And my daughter's here, she's 12. We homeschool her, and she is playing basketball. And so we were in Lebanon earlier this morning. She had 2 games, they won. And you know, and this is where I'm going to end on, I'm going to tie it back to Randy at the end. And so she's playing basketball, and they're winning by a lot. And when you're winning by a lot in a sports program, right, what do? You call the dogs off, right? You're like, okay, we can't press anymore. You know, we're not going to run up the score. Like, we're up by 40 with 10 minutes left in the game. I think we got it, right? So let's put in some subs. Let's pull back. It's called sportsmanship, right? Honorable thing. Not in politics. There's no sportsmanship in politics. You run the score up as much as you can. The Democrats are energized. They think they're going to win something here in Tennessee. The best way to demoralize them is to beat them 80-20 or 90-10. And that's the mentality we have to have. We want every single vote. Greer, I don't get mad at her for missing shots. I don't get mad at her for making mistakes. I get mad at her and she'll tell you if somebody throws her an elbow and she don't throw an elbow back. You gotta fight. Life is about the fight. It's about the challenges, learn how to overcome it, and do it yourself and try to figure out how to get done. Everyone here should want to defeat the Democrats as most as we can. So when I was in Randy's campaign back in 1994, and he was running against, or Bear Stevenson was running against him, and the Democrats decided they wanted to do a basketball game. So we went down to the Oak Ridge Civic Center, and they're like, Randy be the coach for his team, and Bear Stevenson be the coach for his team. So Randy goes, Karen, we need some basketball players. I said, well, Randy, I think they want to play. I'm not playing. I'll coach. I'm not playing. Go find me 5 players. What kind of players you want? To win. Okay, we'll go find them. So we find 5 varsity basketball players. And Oak Ridge, I think, that year was really good in basketball as well. So we come out on the basketball court. Bear Stevenson just went to go find whoever, right? It was a slaughter. We did not take the foot off the gas. Because when Bear Stevenson left that Civic Center, he goes, man, what happened there? Right? But the thing is, they were beaten like a pulp. Because at the end, they would do it to you. And at the end, you think they challenged him to basketball games anymore? They did not. You think they're going to challenge you as Democrats to run against Republicans anymore? They will not. It's a competition. It's a competition for the next generation. We are here at a time to make a difference, not only in America, but in Tennessee, and show other states how to get it done. Other states are watching Tennessee. That's why the liberals hate us. But it's up to everyone in this room in this election, after this primary, vote for who you want to. General election, vote all Republicans. I know you are. But do not allow ourselves to divide ourselves. We're going to win the governor's race. I'm not worried about losing the governor's race. They want to not lose it as bad. I want them to lose it worse. We don't want them to think that they ever have an inroad in the state of Tennessee. And that's where we need to go. Thank you all. God bless. And I appreciate you.